All right. We are back in beautiful Belmont, New Jersey for another episode of the Grit Won't Quit podcast. We have a very special guest on today. We have Cortney. Cortney, good morning. How are you today?
Good morning, Tom. Thank you so much for having me. I'm doing good. So excited to be here.
This is great. I'm glad that you came down. We know you through Ariel from Ariel on our staff. Met you at a networking event or two, and you guys connected and said, I want to be on this podcast.
Exactly. Yeah, precisely that.
So is this your first podcast?
It's not. So through the networking group that we're a part of, one of the girls, Madison Hawkins, owns or has her own podcast, the Jersey Girl Podcast.
That's awesome.
So that was my first podcast, but it was audio only. So this is my first video. So now
she's on video today.
Warming me up.
All right. So it's good that you started with audio only before you jumped into the video world. And I'm glad that Ariel got connected with you because, and that was like a women in business networking organization, right?
Right.
Her and Dina went from our team, which is great. And I love to see those events. So let's talk about your business.
Sure. Yes.
You've been in business 2 years now.
September will be 2 years.
2 years. I have a 15-year head start on this girl. But all right, so what is your business? And let's start talking about what you want to accomplish from the business and where are you going?
So I started my business in September of 2024. The business is an embroidery business. It's Cozy Croissant Embroidery. And there's two aspects of it. One is live embroidery events where I bring my machine on site and do on-site customization for brands, corporate clients, private parties, you name it. And then the other side of it is custom orders that I work on for both consumers, I'll work directly with the client for gifts for themselves or other people. And then I work with small businesses as well for their merch, etc. Now it's just in this growth phase, and I'm split between events and customization orders, and I'm just trying to figure out what is my next step. How do I make it sustainable? Do I stay in one lane, or do I kind of keep this pot stirring with both? Because both have been really good. I get most of my events on the weekends, so right now I'm in that grind phase. I mostly work 24/7, but my weekends are events, and then during the week I'm doing my custom orders. So for now it works, but it is just me.
You're a one-man band.
Yes, so I am trying to figure out how do I make this sustainable, because I think I have a few good years of working this much in me, at least being as physical as I am with embroidery.
As you keep going, you'll be able to keep grinding it out.
Yeah.
I tell you, still work a lot of hours, 17
Exactly.
Because you keep hitting new obstacles. When I was a one-man show, I was doing everything. When I became a two-man show, now I'm managing and still doing stuff.
Exactly.
Then when you get to 20 people, there's new obstacles every day.
It's so true.
And I always say it's moving the goal line. As time goes on, things that I did, I never do anymore, and I'm like, well, that's just because now I have people that can do it, and realistically, they could do it better than I could have done it anyway. So, it's just hard to give up the reins. One thing I would say, one piece of early advice is, as soon as you could hire someone.
Yes.
Because you can't do it all, and you can't do it all great. You can't pick up the phone, be on a podcast, have your fulfillment going on. Right now, again, we're at a different stage, but I have guys that are talking to new customers about deals that need to be done. I have guys building websites right now. I have a team writing social media. Right before you came in, someone was getting an email blast done before the Friday afternoon for the fishing boats right across the street in Belmont. And I had to actually run the credit card because the guy who runs our credit cards took today off. But
exactly.
Otherwise, all those things would have happened while we were talking.
Right, and to the point of brisk, right? As long as I'm touching everything, then I could be A, the bottleneck, but B, it could just not happen. If something were to happen to me, right? Exactly. And that's the thing too. And with the embroidery side, it's very physical. When I move my machine on site, I'm just okay, the day I don't have to touch it, it's a good day.
Yeah. And I think also, when you're doing 100 things and something falls through the cracks, you give yourself the benefit of the doubt and you say, well, I was doing 99 other things. Versus if somebody else did that and didn't do the right thing, you would be able to say, hey, listen, this didn't go according to plan. We have to plan better. We have to do this differently. And I think that's due. And I think also, if you're going to want to get out and be on podcasts, which is great opportunity, exposure, you can't so right now you don't have that production hour is not happening.
Exactly.
And I know I used to be I'm I'm a one-man show. Oh, I don't need to market. Oh, this and that. And as time has gone on, like, I want to market. I want to grow the team. I want to do more things. I just told you off camera, we have franchises now. I want all that because that's going to grow a bigger organization, bigger team, bigger client base, happier people. If you have those people, like, even sometimes, like, my original customers will still text me if they have a question, and like, I have somebody that's better at answering these questions than I am, but they're just so used to hitting up my phone that and then what I do is I screenshot the text and I say, hey Tony, hey Jenna, hey Jillian, can you guys just reach out to this person and just help them through whatever the struggle is, because you're going to be able to do it better than I am. And again, right now I'm going to be tapped out for the next half hour talking to you, and that means the customer's not getting that same level of service that I want them to have. I don't want them to not text me because I don't want to deal with it. I want them to not text me because I could get done faster, better than if they're waiting for me. And that takes time to get there. But if you could learn that lesson early, I was a late bloomer on that one. I remember telling a friend of mine, I was probably 5 years in business, and he said to me, why don't you have an assistant? He goes, your business is starting to grow. He goes, you're making money? He goes, why don't you have an assistant? I said, oh, they need to talk to me. The customer needs to talk to me. And I remember, I could remember exactly where I was. I was at his house. I was there for like a barbecue, and he looked at me like I was crazy. And he owned the business himself. He's older, and he's been in business, was in business longer. When I said, I go, they need to talk to me. They can't not talk to me. And then I said, you don't understand my business. And he looked at me like I was probably crazy. And then like a year later, I called him up. I said, hey, just so you know, I got an administrative assistant. And he's like, good. And he goes, I said, they still need to talk to me, but at least someone could screen the calls. But now I'm like, I want them to go to an assistant so that they could be properly routed.
Exactly.
And I think that as time goes on, you'll see that, and you're going to be like, I got to do this. And again, then you don't have to you're not on the machine. You're not.
Right, exactly.
I feel like you're a social person. You probably do better at networking to go find more clients that can use your service than to be the one doing the detail work of the machine.
Yes, yeah, definitely that. And that my next step too, even next week, I have some calls to set up a client management system just so I can like streamline the intake process, especially for my events. Because right now I'm literally it's me, like it's not handwritten. I'm typing everything, every email that comes
CRM.
in. Exactly. So that's certainly the next step. And I'm at the place where I'm finally able to invest some money back into the business. And my goal with that is to streamline and make it better for my clients.
And again, this is not a promotional thing for Wingman, but reach out to Ariel because she probably can help you with a solution, thinking just about it. So reach out to her on the side, and she might be able to get you a solution that might be beneficial for you.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I appreciate that.
So now 2 years in, what are some of the hustles and struggles? I mean, sounds like you're working a lot. But what are some of the wins?
Yeah, I think it's been a lot of winging it, and pun intended, I guess, because I'm here. And that I say that with I'm very fortunate. If I were to have started my business in my 20s, I don't think I would have as good of a navigation system or as fast of a navigation system as I do now that I'm in my 30s. I have 10 years of professional work experience in a very high pressure environment. It was paralegal work. So I'm used to that type of.
This is a big difference.
So this is, right, because it comes with its own pressures, but it's not the same type of pressure where if I make a mistake, it has that level of impact, legal impact on someone's life.
Yeah, you make
so
sure.
It's basically I'm this is nice to have, and it just makes me so happy to be able to create these special items for clients, and I take it so seriously. But I think it's a grain of salt where if a problem comes up, I'm just okay, we'll just deal with it. If it's not this, then that. What are the options? And just that option tree comes much more naturally, and it's more feasible than if you're dealing with the system, the legal system. So I feel the mindset's been really good, and the challenges, exist. I think just right now it's just streamlining, like we were talking about before, what should I be doing? Am I trying to be this thing for everyone, or who's my target audience, and what are my target offers? Just streamlining that.
Hone in on that. That'd be good. And again, I always say the customer dictated to me. I never thought I would be doing what when I started Wingman, I was going to be a one-man independent consultant. I didn't want an office. Again, I told my wife 15 years ago, I said, let's buy a bigger house because we're not going to have rent. I'm going to work from home. I'm not going to have office rent. And we'll buy a bigger house and we could live in we used to live in this very small Cape Cod house, and we both worked from home. She had her own independent little consulting business. I was just starting Wingman. And we were on top of each other. I said, listen, we're both going to work from home. We're never going to have offices. I'm just going to be a consultant to guys. And I was a consultant to some people at the beginning, and then they were like, oh, can you do this? Can you do this? And then I couldn't be a consultant anymore because I'm trying to do the work and be the consultant. And as time went on, the customers dictated, and they said to me, can you make me flyers and brochures? Can you make me a trade show banner? Can you get me on the first page of Google? Can you do this? And so they told me what they wanted, and I picked out where to, as again, a small business, a one-man shop, I figured out how to navigate the best I could with what I had. And then I hired a woman that helped me, and then I hired another woman. And I remember hiring the second one, I go, oh my God, I gotta make sure I have enough money for these women. And both, 11 years later, they both still work for me. But in the first 5 years of this, I was like a one-man band. And then, like I said, this woman, Tony, came to me, and she was like, I said, you're just going to help with websites. And she's like, okay, cool. She was working in retail. She lived a few doors down from me. She was, family was great. She was great. I said, why don't you come work for me, get out of retail? She wanted to get out of retail. She's like, I said, you're going to build websites, help make websites. And she's like, I've never done that. 11 years later, if you called her up, she could tell you everything and anything about websites and what to do with them and how to operate them the best they can. And then this woman, Chelsea, came around, and I said, I just need help with administrative stuff. And she's like, I'm really good at that. I was like, all right. She's now our chief operating officer. She's grown with us all the way, and she runs our HR. She runs a lot of all the benefits and everything like that. But again, I just needed people that could just get stuff done. And then again, the customers are saying, we want to do this, and that's how it kind of started.
Exactly.
So you have to just figure out and run with it. And you never make a bad mistake. I always say to people, if something doesn't go right, use it as a learning, as a stepping stone to the next thing. We had a project that went a little off the reservation, an internal project that went off the reservation and didn't go according to our plan. And the guy that was, project managing it was, a little upset. And I said to him, look, use this as a learning. Don't beat yourself up. We're going to get through. We're not going out of business because it didn't go according to plan. We're not going to use the software that we built. But use it as a learning. Think about and replay in your head where we could have done differently, what we could have done. Take what we have and then build on that. And don't look at it as, a sad day. Look at it as, all right, it didn't go according to plan, and now we just move forward. And I think when you do that, life just gets easier because if you don't look at it, some people just, take a loss and they're just defeated. They're physically defeated. They look like they just ran through a car wash. But if you think about it as, all right, well, this was a fork in the road. It didn't go according to plan. We keep pivoting.
Yes,
and I think that's the way to be a successful entrepreneur.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's when I do, again, part of my business is on-site events. Still to this day, after every event, I do a little recap to myself. Like, I think about what went really well. So those are also the good things to track, right? Like, what made that event so much better? What was that personal touch that someone appreciated? Or what process actually really worked for that environment? But then if something doesn't go to plan, which a lot of the time are the things that we notice, and of course, we get feedback from our clients too, those are the things that I also think, okay, can I implement this, or can I do something to make this better for next time?
Yep.
And it's really, really great because I have a whole Google Doc with just ongoing notes, and that has made at least one aspect of my business much smoother. And right now I feel like I'm learning a lot more about the custom orders because the events are the piece of my business that took off at first.
Yep. And I think with that, once you do hire someone, you kind of have a playbook. You have like an onboarding book to say, look, here are things to watch out for. Here are some pitfalls that could happen if not planned properly.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that the business side, the small business side, is everybody wants branded apparel. You're not competing with AI at all. It's not like although some guy gave me a shirt design that was all ChatGPT, and
I know the logos are coming through. Yes,
but you could there was so many graphics and. it was crazy.
Well, right. And that's like to the point of like our earlier bit of the conversation. It's just like I recognize, which is the blessing and the curse, I guess you could say in ways, right? Is that like I have to touch every single product.
Yeah.
Right. And like, yeah, to AI not coming after my job. It's like, you know, honestly, like please, like I kind of wish in a way, but it's obviously amazing that the contact's preserved because that means it's an industry that should hopefully stay stable.
You know,
and there's so many avenues.
Robots start doing it, but
exactly.
That's a different
No,
problem.
so it's true.
You know what's funny is I think that there's a lot of great benefits of AI, but there's some things that just I don't know. Like some of these graphics that people are doing, like they just don't look good. Like they just oversaturated with design, and I think design's in the eyes of the beholder. I've always said that. You know, again, you make this many websites. Sometimes you look at a site and you say, I don't love it, but if you love it, that's all that matters to me. But you know, some of these AI graphics are just a little much for me, and just for my taste on it. But every day they're going to get better. Every day they're going to do, you know. And again, I think AI's got a lot of benefit because you could do a lot of stuff behind the scenes that you could take out of the administrative part of the business.
Exactly.
So I think that that's really where you can hone in into, and also if you need help, like. So we've sharpened logos. Like if we don't have a high res logo for something,
okay, that's
you could throw it in there. And now again with your world with 300 DPI and different things like that for the print side, and you know how you're doing your prints. I mean I don't know if they're good enough, but like to put it onto like a website if it had a fuzzy logo and they didn't have a higher res, we've used that to sharpen them. So
I think there's a lot of quick like benefits like that, but then it can go the other way as well.
Totally. And it's just like anything, you know. It's another add-on. It's like the calculator. You don't do any math in your head anymore.
It's so true.
So when you think about it, which way, if you were just kind of had to pick today, which way do you think you're going to lean into the business?
So at this time, I'm definitely thinking about how to expand the event services because one of the obstacles and opportunities at that point is just guest count and trying to match what events could have as their guest count. So with embroidery, the production rate doesn't always add up to what the guest count is. So I'm thinking, do I get multiple machines or do I also add another type of service as an add-on, like a patch bar, something that's faster? But then also, as I was saying earlier, is I really do see Cozy Croissant turning into a broader customization business. And right now we've been doing embroidery, but the long-term goal would be to offer more services.
How did you come up with the name?
Cozy Croissant, yeah. I lived in Paris after college as an au pair, so I was taking care of a few kids in France, and that was a few months. And then I quickly came home. I was like, wait, my bedroom door doesn't lock. Like, I'm like a full adult now. My friends are starting to make money. But yeah, I had a very amazing time in Paris, and so the business name is really just an ode to that time of my life, and who doesn't love croissants? So when I was making my business, I knew croissant was going to be the staple, and then when I'm coming up with names or like a part of my creative process is I'll go through the alphabet. So I was thinking of words that would go with croissant. So I was like A, B, and then I got to C and thought of cozy, and I was like, that's so perfect. Like that's like so what represents personalization and like feeling like you, which is really like my goal with embroidery is like to make people feel like, you know, themselves and feel good.
That's great.
So yeah, Cozy Croissant. And then for the first few months of my business, again, for better or for worse, having like that legal background in my mind, for my work was just, I was like, I have to trademark this. Like, is it trademarkable?
Yeah.
And then I was like operating in the dark, so I was so scared to post until like I had my application at least filed, and now it's officially mine. But yeah, so that's how we came up with the name.
What's funny is wingman to me is a marketing. You're somebody's wingman.
That's so true.
But people also think that we sell wings. And recently at our this location, I guess you could, with all the restaurants, you kind of maybe think, all right, they sell wings. But at our Manasquan location, it's a office building, 2-story office building, and an older woman walked in a couple weeks ago and goes, I'd like to order wings. She walked into our conference room, and she's like, I want to order wings. And our assistant Amy's like, what are you talking about? And she's like, oh, this is Wingman. And then she said something to the extent of, this is misleading. And I'm like, are you crazy? Like,
That's true.
There's nothing that says wings anywhere besides the name Wingman. But she was hell bent to get wings.
That's amazing. I just did an event a month or two ago with Wingstop.
Uh-huh.
So like,
So
yes,
it's even-
yeah. So it's very relevant.
That's so funny. I mean,
But yes, yeah. I can like kind of see it though. Like even like your font is kind of similar to that. So maybe that's why.
and we're not changing our fonts. What's also funny, last off April Fool's Day, we did a little skit of like somebody from the staff walked in and said, "Can I
That's
order
perfect.
wings?" You know, so you know it's kind of funny, but
You
I
should
think
have
it
like a
was-
menu brochure, like how you do your marketing services should be
Yeah.
like a restaurant menu.
That would actually be pretty funny. Side of blue cheese.
Yeah. Side of I don't know, SEO.
Maybe look at that. Look at that. I like this creative
Marketing.
idea here. So, all right. So, when you think, you know, again, some of the wins. Where do you see some of the wins being?
I think the wins, like to just bringing up Wingstop, it's just like seeing the mix of like big brands, businesses merge and like collaborate with small businesses.
How did you get in with Wingstop?
They their event planner. They have an event planner that works with them for like a lot of their events, and they had
Mm-hmm.
an activation in New York City. So that event planner found me probably through socials. That's where most of my
great.
clients come through. So yeah, it was like so fun. It was such a fun event.
Now, you got to go to New York City with your machine?
Yes, yeah. So that's always fun. I also just bought a big Ford Explorer.
Okay.
So now me going to the city with that is like quite hilarious. But New Yorkers are nice because I like literally will be like out my window like, can you like look and just make sure I'm not going to hit, like asking strangers for help as I'm trying to drive
As you're
my
navigating
car, my now big car
That's
through
funny.
Soho or wherever I am. But yeah, like just working with like big brands and businesses has been like just so nice, like to see that, yeah, just like the merging of both. And
That's
then
a nice collab.
Even exactly, it's just like so special. And then at the same time, getting to know small businesses and just all of my clients have just been so lovely. So I've
Yep.
been very organic in like the connections that I've been making. Haven't really invested in marketing or anything of that sort. It's been a lot of social proof and just like referrals for me. So yeah, that's really just been the world. Like,
And hopefully you
it's
get
been
some
so nice.
repeat after people
It-
are happy with the job. Again, Wingstop's not going to stop. They're going to open another store. They're going to do this. They're going to
Yeah.
need somebody. Like those kind of, once you do I always say to my guys, once you do something that, you do the right job for the person, they want to come back. Nobody wants to keep finding new people all the time. Like again,
Exactly.
if the price, the product, the
the
delivery
value.
was all good,
Yeah.
the value was there. Like they don't want to go search for this. They want to be able to call you and say, hey, can you help me on this day? And you're like, sure, and you just block it off. Like I'm a huge believer of, you know, you do the right job for people, they want to come back, and they're going to tell
Exactly.
you about. They're going to tell their friends.
Yeah, so that's, yeah. And I'm also like, as I'm starting to, I think like in terms of next steps for myself, right? Where do I find those business mentors? I have a nice group of other embroiderers who are doing things similar to me that, yeah, like I lean on them a ton, and they've been so important to like the success that I've had. But at the same time, I'm just thinking like, how do I continue to learn and grow, and what resources do I take? Because at this point, I've been, you know, very self-taught or just like trial and error. So just trying to fill those gaps. Exactly. It's fun to have like that like naiveness where you're just like, okay, I'll try, and just having the right mindset. And again, looking back and always making sure you troubleshoot and implement whatever can be better
Like that
for next time.
post-mortem, like,
Yeah.
I think that's important. And I also think sometimes troubleshooting or exploring is like, I want to know more. Like I'm not always happy with the answer. Like I'm curious. I want to know more. So a lot of times, like some of the things that we've gotten ourselves into is because someone said, can you do this? And I'm like, yeah, we can take that on.
Yeah.
And I think about, well, we did something like this. Well, if we did something similar, it'd be like this. And, you know, there's times where it didn't 100% go to plan. But again, as long as you stand up for your product and you do the right thing, you can get through anything.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, that's been the mindset for sure. And that's like to your point of like, can I do this? Like always kind of pushing the limits. That's been when I look back, and I'm not, you know, who knows where my life's going to go. And like, will I go back to the 9-to-5 life? Maybe, right? Like that's always on the table. But my biggest like obstacle in that world, in corporate America, which I worked in higher ed, so it wasn't as corporate, was like the fact that I was always the person like up against my supervisor. Like, why not? Why not? Like, can we do this? You know, and just like almost that
corporate
friction.
America,
Yeah.
they don't like that.
They don't like it. They don't like
What's
it.
funny is I was in corporate America before I went out on my own. I did I don't know 5 or 6 years in corporate
Yeah.
America, and I would always press that button like, why doesn't that happen? Why can't we do this? Why? And people might be like, just let it be. Like, go home at 5 o'clock and don't worry about this. Don't worry about this stuff. But meanwhile, like, when you're an entrepreneur, that's like a great quality.
Exactly.
And your clients love it.
Yes.
When you tell your clients, yeah, I think I could do that, but I gotta figure it out. I gotta do a little investigation. They're like, this is awesome. Versus in the corporate world, they're like, shut up, Tom.
Yeah, no, exactly that. So over the weekend.
So you're not going back to corporate America.
I mean, I guess we shouldn't jinx it, right? Not a part of the plan. But over the weekend, it was the 4th of July weekend, I got a really big order for a big brand. And, you know, it was like pretty, like, I knew I could deliver. They were giving me the items. I had all like the materials, but they had a very specific thread color. And I was like, I have to get this. But like, I was up against the holiday weekend. But like that whole ordering process for myself, I was like, this is why like I should be a business owner, because I like literally called so many sewing shops around the country,
and you
got multiple threads of that exact color, overnighted to me, like paid the shipping. I was like, okay, that's a client acquisition cost.
Yep, sure.
You know, like I need to like nail this. I also ordered their product, got it DoorDash to me so I could see the product and like compare it to the thread color. I went like completely obsessed with this order. And they got the product in time. I worked over the weekend, which is like just what I'm at that stage of business. Like I'm happy to. Like it was great. And as soon as they got it, they're like, "Oh, we want more." And I was like, "That's like the best thing on earth."
That customer acquisition,
yes, exactly.
Just got cut down because
now I have all like this thread that I'm like hoping I didn't buy out the United States like supply right now, because they loved it. Yeah, and I was like just so thankful. But that whole like weekend, I was just like laughing to myself as I was like, this would have like really like got people mad sometimes in my old job if I was like that like obsessed with getting something done.
But you get it, like, you know, again, you're not like, oh, I have to go out because it's 4th of July. You're like, I have this job, I'm going to get it done. And again, there's going to be longer term benefits to that.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's just like really nice to be in I like created this environment where like I could thrive like that when it's, you know, I think there's time and place for sure, but it's been, I just like look back now and I'm like, wow, like I wish like someone told my younger self or like other younger, you know, individuals that if they have those types of qualities, maybe that means that they could thrive in entrepreneurship.
You know, I think that a lot of people don't know it right away, and then they think that they're fighting this corporate wall against them, and they think that corporate's against them. Corporate's not against them. Corporate, you know, people want to not really kind of buck the trend too much. They don't want to go out of place. They want to make sure that senior management looks at them in a very good light, and as long as they don't rock the boat, their paycheck is in the account next week. So like that's the total opposite of an entrepreneur. So I think you kind of figured it out, and good thing you figured it out now.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's so true.
And you know, I always, my corporate experience, one thing I do say about my corporate experience, because you had to be very disciplined in the work that you do and the checking that you do.
Exactly.
Like I am anal nut, and my staff could tell you. Like I could just get the report. They send me the report, and I'm like, all right, well, this paragraph, like this font is off a little bit. Check this, check that, because that's what corporate taught me.
Exactly.
Like, all those checks. Whereas again, I look back and I wish I left corporate a little bit earlier, but. You know, it's all worked out, but they did give me that discipline and showing up every day on time. Like when you're a business owner, you have the flexibility of, you know, coming and going whenever you want. I am in my office by 7:45 every morning. I stay till 5:45, 6 o'clock every day. But again, corporate taught me that. Like corporate didn't say you could. And again, for myself or our employees, I don't let you wear shorts. Like I meet many business owners where they have shorts and a t-shirt on. You know, we have a very casual dress code. You see, it's just jeans. But I didn't want to like that. I took from corporate America
exactly.
too.
Yeah,
like,
there's definitely
just
things.
have like that a basic standard, because God, I can only imagine if people started coming in shorts and where that would turn.
Yes,
so,
yeah.
You know, I think that the corporate world had some good benefits. Those were the things. Like it taught me a lot about structure and about like checking your work and things like that. And then, but I think the entrepreneurial world is, for me, more where I need to be.
Exactly.
So that's awesome. I love that what you're doing. I love that it's starting to take off, and I think it's going to keep growing. I mean, there's no reason, if you're willing to put in the time, you're willing to put in the effort, there's no reason this doesn't keep growing.
That's the hope. So, yeah, ask me next year for
All
my
right.
3 years.
So we'll check in for a 3-year birthday. But as we wrap up today, let people know where they can find you online, on your socials, any way you want to be connected.
Yeah, so my website is cozycroissantembroidery.com. Our Instagram is at Cozy Croissant Embroidery as well as TikTok. And otherwise, yeah, just feel free to reach out to me. My name's Courtney, and I was so happy to be on today. Thank you so
Awesome.
much.
Thanks for coming on today. This was
Thank
great.
you.